You're doing everything you're supposed to do. You've cut back on desserts. You've swapped white bread for wheat. You try to get your daily walk in. You check your blood sugar. You take your medication. But your numbers are still stuck. Your A1C isn't budging. You feel tired by 3 p.m. That brain fog is constant, and maybe you have that tingling or numbness in your feet that you're trying to ignore. You're frustrated, and you're starting to think, maybe this is just what getting older with diabetes feels like. If this is you, I need you to stop and listen to me. What if I told you it's not just getting older? What if the very things you're doing, the common sense rules you're following, are actually mistakes? Hello, I'm Dr. Sarah Collins. For over 18 years, I have helped seniors in this exact situation, frustrated, tired, and feeling stuck, to finally get control of their health. And I'm here today as your doctor and as your advocate to issue a warning. We are going to walk through the 5 worst, most common mistakes I see diabetics over 50 make every single day. And the number 1 mistake on this list, it's the most dangerous one. It's a silent trap that millions of people fall into, not out of carelessness, but out of fear. And it is the single biggest thing holding you back from truly getting better. Please stick with me until the end. This information is too important to miss. Let's begin. The 5th biggest mistake I see is the healthy carb trap. This is the mistake of focusing only on sugar while ignoring the healthy foods that are secretly spiking your blood sugar just as high. You think, I'll be good, I'll have a bowl of oatmeal or a heart-healthy whole grain cereal for breakfast. Or maybe you have a large banana or a glass of orange juice. You've avoided the donut, so you feel good about your choice. Here is the truth I've shared with my patients for years. Your pancreas doesn't make a moral distinction. To your body, a large bowl of instant oatmeal, a piece of whole wheat toast, or a sugary pastry all break down into the same thing, glucose. And they break down fast. That healthy breakfast sends your blood sugar soaring, forcing your pancreas to release a flood of insulin to deal with the onslaught. Then, 2 hours later, you have the inevitable crash. You feel shaky, foggy, and you're suddenly starving for more carbs. You're on a blood sugar roller coaster, and you put yourself on it at 8 a.m. This isn't about good or bad foods. It's about understanding the impact. Many healthy foods are just sugar in a clever disguise. This leads directly to mistake number 4, ignoring your hydration. This is by far the most overlooked blood sugar saboteur. As we age, our thirst mechanism begins to fade. We simply don't feel as thirsty as we used to. And this leads to a state of chronic, low-grade dehydration. What does that have to do with blood sugar, Dr. Collins? Everything. Think of your blood as a cup of coffee. The glucose is the coffee grounds. If you have a full cup of water, the coffee is perfectly diluted. But what happens if you pour out half the water? The same amount of coffee grounds is still there, but the mixture is now intensely concentrated. That is what happens to your blood when you are dehydrated. Your blood volume decreases, and the glucose in your bloodstream becomes more concentrated. You check your levels, and the number on your meter is artificially high, all because you're a few glasses of water behind. A landmark study from the National Institutes of Health, NIH, found that adults who stay well hydrated appear to be healthier, develop fewer chronic conditions, and live longer. For a diabetic, water is not optional. It is a critical tool for managing your health. Now, if you're finding this information helpful, and maybe you're having an aha moment about your own habits, would you do me a small favor and tap that like button? It's a simple click for you, but it tells YouTube that this information is valuable and helps it reach more seniors who need to hear this message. And if you want to be part of this community, please subscribe. We are in this together. All right, let's get to mistake number 3, and this one is critical. Mistake number 3 is prioritizing cardio over strength. Now, please hear me. Walking is fantastic. I want you to walk. It's wonderful for your heart, your mood, and it burns glucose. But you are missing the single most powerful weapon you have against insulin resistance. And that weapon is your muscle. Here's the difference. Aerobic exercise, like walking, burns sugar for energy. It's temporary. The benefit largely stops when you stop walking. Strength training or resistance training builds new muscle. And muscle is your body's primary glucose sink. It is the single largest place in your body where you can store the sugar you eat, taking it out of your bloodstream. The more lean muscle you have, the more storage space you have for carbs, and the more insulin sensitive your body becomes. You do not need to join a gym or become a bodybuilder. We're talking about wall push-ups, squats while holding onto a chair, lifting a soup can or a 1-pound dumbbell. A major study published in the journal Diabetologia found that for people with type 2 diabetes, strength training was more effective than aerobic exercise at improving glycemic control. You can't walk your way out of diabetes. You must build muscle. It is the key to changing your metabolism at a baseline level. This brings us to mistake number 2, sacrificing sleep. You wake up at 2 or 3 a.m., your mind racing, and you just can't get back to bed. You figure it's just part of aging. I am here to tell you that poor sleep is not a passive problem. It is an active aggressor against your body. It is devastating your blood sugar control. Laboratory studies have shown that even one single night of partial sleep deprivation can make your cells more insulin resistant the very next day. Here is the mechanism. When you are sleep deprived, your body goes into a state of high alert. It floods your system with stress hormones like cortisol. Cortisol's job is to make you ready for a fight, and it does that by dumping stored sugar from your liver into your bloodstream. So, you wake up after a bad night's sleep, and you haven't even eaten anything, yet your fasting blood sugar is 150. That is the cortisol. At the same time, lack of sleep wrecks your hunger hormones. Your I'm full hormone, leptin, goes down, and your I'm hungry hormone, ghrelin, goes up. You are left tired, stressed, and craving the very carbohydrate-dense foods that will spike your sugar even more. It is a vicious cycle. You cannot get control of your blood sugar if you do not get control of your sleep. Period. And now for the number 1 worst mistake I see diabetics over 50 make. This is the one that truly breaks my heart because it's a trap that doctors and patients fall into together. It is a mistake born of fear. The number 1 mistake is chasing the highs because you fear the lows. Let me explain. Hypoglycemia, a low blood sugar event, is terrifying. It's that sudden feeling of weakness, the cold sweat, the shaking, the panic. It's a real, immediate danger, especially for those on medications like insulin or sulfonylureas. So, what do millions of seniors do? They live in fear of that feeling. They see a blood sugar reading of 110 and they think, oh, that's getting too close. What if I drop? So, they have a defensive snack they don't need. They see a reading of 95 and they panic. They intentionally keep their blood sugar running high at 180, 200, or even 220 because it feels safer. They are chasing the high to avoid the low. Studies have confirmed that this fear of hypoglycemia is one of the biggest barriers to achieving good glycemic control. But here is the doctor's warning. Living in that safe, high zone of 180 plus is exactly what causes the long-term, irreversible complications. By avoiding the short-term risk of a low, you are guaranteeing the long-term damage of neuropathy, retinopathy, kidney disease, and heart disease. You are trading a possibility for a certainty. This mistake also includes ignoring the early whispers of that damage, the tingling in your toes, the persistent fatigue, the slight blurriness in your vision. You blame it on age. You don't tell your doctor because you're afraid of what it means. But those aren't symptoms of age. They are symptoms of damage. Okay, take a deep breath. That was a lot and it was heavy. If you recognize yourself in any of those mistakes, the first thing I want you to do is let go of any guilt. This is not a moral failure. It's a lack of the right information. And now you have the information. So let's do our solution flip. You now know the 5 mistakes. Here are the 5 solutions. 1. Instead of the healthy carb trap, you balance your plate. Never eat a carbohydrate alone. That oatmeal? Add a scoop of protein and a handful of almonds. That apple? Eat it with cheese. Protein and fat are the brakes for that sugar spike. 2. For hydration, get a water bottle. Buy a 32-ounce bottle you love. Fill it when you wake up and make it your goal to finish it by lunch. Fill it again and finish it by dinner. You've just gotten 64 ounces. It's that simple. 3. For exercise, add 2 things. You don't have to give up your walk. Just twice a week, before your walk, do 10 wall push-ups and 10 sit-to-stands from a sturdy chair. You've just started strength training. 4. For sleep, you create a sleep sanctuary. 1 hour before bed, the screens go off. The TV, the phone, the tablet. They are gone. Read a book. Listen to quiet music. Let your brain produce the melatonin it needs. And 5, for that number 1 mistake. You communicate and you get stable. If you are having frequent lows, your medication is wrong. The answer is not to eat more sugar. The answer is to talk to your doctor to reduce the medication. We have incredible tools now, like continuous glucose monitors, CGMs, that can show us exactly where you're headed and help us adjust. The goal is not to live high. The goal is to live stable. Managing diabetes after 50 is complex. You're juggling a lot, but you have the power to fix this. You are not a statistic. You are not your diagnosis. You are here, you are learning, and you are taking control. And you are not alone. I'm Dr. Sarah Collins. Thank you for spending this time with me. Stay strong, stay informed, and I will see you in the next video.